Welcome students. In this video we are going to discuss in detail about Introduction to Macroeconomics from chapter 1. So before enter into this concept, we are going to discuss about what is economics, right? So can you guess the answer? What is economics? So economics is a study of how people, business firms, government make decisions by using the available scarce resources. Okay, so economics is a study of how people, business firms, government made decisions by using the available scarce resources. Okay, so what do you mean by scarce? Scarce means limited. Scarce means limited. So already you know what is resources, isn't it? Can you list out the resources? Students, listen. So the first one is land. Second one is labor. Third one is capital. And the fourth one is organization. These are all the resources that are available in our economy. Okay, so what are all the resources we are having? Land. The first one is land. Second one is labor. Third one is capital. And the fourth one is organization. Okay, so these are all the resources that are available in our economy, right? So we are having scarce resources. It means resources that are available in our environment are limited, okay, but our needs and wants are unlimited. Okay, so we are having so many needs and wants, right? So what are all the needs we are having in our day-to-day life? The first one is food, isn't it? So in our day-to-day life we need food, shelter. These are all necessary things, isn't it? So there is no limit for needs and wants. So here basically we have unlimited needs and wants. For example, if a person wants to buy a car, right? So once his wants get satisfied means then he wants for another one. Okay, so human wants are unlimited, but we have limited resources. So money is the best example for scarce resources. Money is the best example for scarce resources. Okay, so for example, if a person wants to buy a phone, tab, watch, right, house, whatever it is, but he doesn't have enough money. Okay, so to buy all the products at the same time. Okay, so here people need to make choices about how to use their scarce resources. In this situation, that person need to take decision which one buy first. Okay, so this that is the example for scarce resources. So economics is the study of the choices of people. So economics is the study of choices of people to make decision to satisfy their needs and wants with a limited supply of resources. So what we are doing to satisfy our needs and wants? We are going for a job, isn't it? Doing business to satisfy our needs and wants. So to satisfy our needs, we are doing we are producing some products, isn't it? So these are all the economic activities. So we are doing production, consumption in our day-to-day life for satisfying our needs and wants. Okay students, let's discuss the classification of economics. Okay, so classification of economics. So economics can be classified into two parts. One is micro and the another one is macro. Okay, so economics is classified into two, that is micro and macro. The word micro means small. Right? So the word micro means small and macro means large. Okay, so Ragnar Frisch, okay, Ragnar Frisch, he is an Norwegian economist, coined the word micro and macro. Okay, so Ragnar Frisch, he is a Norwegian economist, coined the word micro and macro. Okay, in the year 1931. This is very important. Underline this point from the page number 1. Okay. So here, let's we discuss about the classification of economics. So first, we go with microeconomics, right? So in microeconomics concept, it studies the behavior of individual person and firms in making decision. Okay, so it studies the behavior of individual person and firms in making decision regarding the allocation of resources. So in macroeconomics, it deals with the economic activity as a whole. Macroeconomics deals with economic activity as a whole. So here I am giving some examples. So let's get into this. So first one is individual income. So microeconomics deals with individual, it analyzes the income of an individual or income output of a firm or wages of worker. These are all analyses in microeconomics. In macroeconomics, we analyzes the national income of a country, right? Not an individual person, right? So here in macro analysis, we analyze the national income, not individual income. Here we analyze the individual income of a person, but in macroeconomics, we analyze the national income of a country, then unemployment rate of a country. Okay, so in microeconomics, it deals with how an individual consumers allocates his income. Okay, so it analyzes the income of an individual and how they are allocated his income among different products and services to maximize their satisfaction. So in microeconomics, how an individual person, okay, in macroeconomics, how an individual person allocates his income among different products and services to maximize their satisfaction. Okay, so in macroeconomics, right, in macroeconomics, it studies about how a nation, how a country allocates its resources, right? So allocates its resources for developing their nation, right? In macroeconomics, how a country allocates its national income or whatever it is. So how it allocates its resources among different sectors, right, to maximize their income or whatever it is. So how they are investing, it's about investment and national income, unemployment, how they are managing their inflation. It's all about economic activities. In macroeconomics, how they are managing their resources in an effective manner, how a country managing their resources in an effective manner, that is macroeconomics. Okay, so in microeconomics, it explains how a particular firm or how an individual business taking decision at what price to sell their products or how much to produce or how to reduce the production cost, right? So it is these are all comes under microeconomic analysis. Okay, but in macroeconomics, what we do here, we are as a country, right? So here how a country, particular nations taking decisions about how the funds are allocated, right? How they are taking decisions regarding the allocation of funds to increase the growth of the country. Okay, that is comes under macroeconomic analysis. So in macroeconomics, it deals with economic activities as a whole. Okay, but in microeconomics, it talks about individual person, individual business, right? Individual worker, like that. Okay, so this is the difference between micro and macro. Okay, Okay, let's we discuss in detail about macroeconomics. Okay. Ragnar Frisch, a Norwegian economist, coined the word macro and micro. Okay, Ragnar Frisch, a Norwegian economist, coined the word macro and micro in the year 1931. Okay, so J.M. Keynes. Okay, J.M. Keynes. Okay, macroeconomics in its modern form began with J.M. Keynes. Okay, the word macro derived from the Greek word macros. The word macro derived from the Greek word macros. Okay, it means large. Okay, so J.M. Keynes is the father of modern macroeconomics. Is the father of modern macroeconomics. Okay, so macroeconomics is also known as income theory. Macroeconomics is also known as income theory. So macroeconomics concept analyzes the economy as a whole, isn't it? Okay students, let me discuss about the subject matter covered in macroeconomics. So macroeconomics analyzes the employment rate of a country, national income of a nation, inflation rate, business cycle, poverty, inequality, infrastructure development in an economy, what are the international trade carried out by a country, and balance of trade, balance of payments, etc. So the subject matter covered in macroeconomics are employment, national income, inflation, business cycle, poverty, inequality, infrastructure development, international trade, balance of trade, and balance of payment, etc. So what do you mean by employment? Can you give your answer, students? Listen. So employment is about how many persons are employed in a nation. So it talks about how many persons are employed in a nation. Okay. So national income talks about the income of a country. Okay. So national income talks about the income of a country. So inflation talks about the increase in the prices of goods and services. Okay. So inflation talks about the increases in the prices of goods and services. Then business cycle. So business cycle means fluctuations in the business activity. Okay, in an economy, right? It talks about fluctuations in the business activity. Okay, in the economy, right? So what do you mean by poverty? Can you give an answer? What do you mean by poverty? It means lack of adequate financial resources, right? It means lack of adequate financial resources. Then inequality means uneven distribution of income and wealth. Inequality means uneven distribution of income and wealth. So infrastructure development talks about the process of creating and improving the organizational structure. Okay. So what are the examples comes under infrastructure development? Can you give some examples, ma? What are the infrastructure development made in our country? Can you guess? Students, can you guess the answer for infrastructure developments? So in our country, our government provides infrastructure facilities like laying roads, ports, logistics, right? So it talks about the supporting economic activity. It talks about the supporting economic activity. So international trade means exports and imports. Okay, it means exchange of goods from one country to another. It talks about the exports and imports of a country. Okay, then balance of trade. Okay, then the next one is balance of trade. So balance of trade means it talks about the difference between value of country's exports and the value of a country's imports for a given period, for a specific period. Okay, so balance of trade means difference between value of country's exports and the value of country's imports for a given period. Then the next one is balance of payment. The next one is balance of payment. So what do you mean by balance of payment? Can you give an answer? So it is how much money coming in and how much money going out inside the country, right? In a particular country, not inside, in a particular country, right? How much money coming into the country and how much money going out from the country. So that is balance of payment. So we are going to discuss in detail about all these things in the coming chapters. Okay, employment, national income, inflation, then a business cycle, poverty, inequality. Okay students, let's proceed with the importance of the macroeconomics. Okay, so the first point is to understand the functioning of an economy, right? So the first point is to understand the functioning of an economy. So if we go with macroeconomic analysis, it helps us to know the performance of an economy, right? So how an economy performing it, if we go with the macroeconomic analysis, means it gives an idea of the functioning of an economic system, right? So for example, if we take our country, in India we are following mixedism method of economic system, right? Mixedism means economic activities are controlled by both private sector and public sectors, right? So business activities are controlled by both private and public. Economic activities, all economic activities are carried through by private and the public, right? So through macroeconomic analysis, we can able to understand the functioning of an economy. Okay, that's the first point. And the next one is to solve the basic problems prevailing in an economy, right? So the next point is to solve the basic problems prevailing in an economy. Okay students, can you guess what are all the basic problems we are facing in our country or in our economy? To solve the basic problems prevailing in an economy, right? To solve the basic problems prevailing in an economy, that is the second point. Okay, so what are all the basic problems faced by our country? Can you guess, guys? What are all the basic problems faced by our country? The basic problems faced by our countries are unemployment, right? Unemployment, then unemployment, right? Then poverty, then poverty, corruptions. Okay, these are all the basic problems prevailing in our country, isn't it? So this affects the economic growth of our economy, right? So by analyzing our macroeconomy, we can able to find out the basic problems prevailing in our country. So macroeconomic analysis is important because we can able to find out the basic problems prevailing in an economy. And then the third point is understand the future problem, right? Understand the future problem. So macroeconomic analysis help us to understand the future problems, right? It means what are the problems going to happen in the future, right? What are the problems going to happen in the future can be understood by the macroeconomic analysis. So this is important to evolve precautionary measures to avoid economic crisis. Okay, and the fourth point is it helps to make meaningful comparison. So macroeconomic analysis helps to make meaningful comparison and analysis of economic indicators. What are the economic indicators? Economic indicators are GDP, consumption, investment, right? GDP, consumption, investment, right? So for by analyzing these economic indicators, it will help us to make comparing our economy with other economy, right? Comparing our country with another country. Okay, GDP means production, how much product we are producing in our country, right? So we can able to compare our GDP with other countries' GDP. We can able to understand how much we are developing, we are growing, right? These can be able to understand through macroeconomic analysis. Then the final point is better prediction. The final point is better prediction. So macroeconomic analysis helps to predict what might happen in the future and to formulate suitable policies. So we can able to predict the future, right? What may happen in the future. Okay, that's it, guys. Okay, we will continue in the next class. Thank you, students.